Jenny, thank you so much for joining me today. There are just so many questions about music therapy and how it relates to end of life care. I'm just really excited that we can kind of talk about it a little bit and maybe clear up some misconceptions for some people.
Awesome.
So, first of all, Jenny, as a board certified music therapist, what is music therapy and how is it beneficial to end of life care?
Music therapy is much like any other therapy. You're striving to achieve a therapeutic goal. So, whether that goal is emotional or social, physical, even spiritual, if you think about the way music relates to, speaks to us, if you will, it's using a medium. So, the medium would be music, and you're accomplishing a therapeutic goal, and you're using the relationship that's built between the therapist and the client, as well as the medium to accomplish that goal.
And how would you say that that relates specifically to end of life care and people's musical journey?
So I think that music therapy is pretty necessary in end of life care. I use music to connect with people that can't speak anymore, but they can remember and recall a time and a place in their life where those songs were very, very important. And so it helps with orientation. It helps with feeling comforted. Um, I use music for self-expression and saying things that are hard to say. Sometimes when words fail us, music is right there. I use active drumming to express hard feelings, work through grief and loss, process maybe some frustration or anger related to the disease process. But music can also be used to create legacy and to make something that will survive past the person that's dying
Mhm.
and be a source of support for the bereaved family afterwards that encompasses that person's ideas, that person's voice, and even that person's heartbeat. So, music therapy is just, I think, essential when it comes to end of life care because of the feelings it evokes. And even on a physical level, we can help to decrease anxiety with music. We can help to support the body in respiratory distress through entrainment with music. And we can also help to decrease the perceived level of pain through music. So, pretty awesome.
Wow. So I'm hearing a lot of not just psychological and spiritual and feel good benefits, but some actual physical benefits to music therapy. And that to me, as somebody who's not aware, that's surprising. Um, One of the other things that I hear you speaking about a lot is when people are using music to connect when maybe they don't have their own voice or they're having a difficult time communicating, or maybe if somebody is struggling with confusion, you're saying that music can help orient someone or reorient someone to a certain place or time in their life. Is that correct?
Yeah, when you think of someone who might be agitated because they don't really know what's going on and this isn't their house and they're feeling confused, a familiar song helps them to feel some sense of familiarity and control and comfort. And even engaging them in singing that song or moving to that song or reminiscing about that time and that song is comforting. It's familiar and it helps to decrease, those feelings of anxiety. It also fosters a connection with someone who might be a stranger to them, even though they're the caregiver and they see them every day. But it's like meeting a new person every day. If that person knows your favorite song and you sing together, it kind of helps to foster a relationship right away where there can be some trust built and maybe some ADL care provided.
You know, it sounds like music therapy, just like musical preference, which makes a lot of sense, is very, very personal. Because at least when I'm thinking about myself, when I'm listening to certain music, there could be a song that could be meaningful for me to me for a good reason, or maybe a song that is really touching in a different way or brings up some bad memories or some things that maybe I would not be able to express myself. And so I imagine that as a music therapist, you need to really work to build rapport with the people that you're working with and be sensitive to their reactions, both over and kind of as you're getting to know them and building that trust.
Absolutely. And familiarize yourself with their preferred music. We all have different music taste buds, and the music that's going to mean the most to them and be most beneficial and effective when you're trying to manage pain or promote anxiety reduction is going to be their preferred music. So really getting to know somebody musically is super important. So that means even making relationships with family members, because family members can give that insight when the patient's not able to.
Wow, so it sounds like such an inclusive process. A lot of details going on. And that actually leads into something that I had a question for you that I'd really like you to talk about a little bit. What would you say are some misconceptions that people have about music therapy in regards to end of life care?
Good question. Um, I know that maybe from the outside, when I'm singing to a patient that has Alzheimer's, it looks like I'm just a performer and I'm just kind of singing to that person. And music therapy, while singing, is very therapeutic. And I think that people coming into residence facilities and homes and providing music stimulation is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. As a music therapist, I'm looking at some different things as well. I'm looking at their respiration rate. I'm watching different movements of the body. I'm looking to see if their breathing is in training with what I'm doing. I'm looking for specific responses, nonverbal cues. So it's not just me singing to that person. I'm really assessing while I'm doing that. And when I change the song or when I change the tempo, what is the reaction in the person? Are they aware? Are they alert? Are they giving me feedback back, to different songs? Does their affect change with the music? If so, does it seem in distress? Is it not in distress? Does it seem happier? Um, so there's so many moving parts that are happening in a music therapy session that might not be understood by somebody just walking by the room. I think the misconception is that, oh, she's so nice. She just goes in and she sings to people. Isn't that sweet? And again, I think that music performers are essential and they are needed even more than how they're utilized now. But music therapy is a different process. The other misconception that I think I'd like to dispel is that, because music therapy isn't as understood, because it's not talked about, mainstream media or written about a lot, like PTOT or speech, it's very person-centered, at least in hospice. It's very person-centered. And so it looks different for each person. So you never really know what music therapy is until you actually give it an opportunity to give it a
Yeah.
try.
Well, and so what I'm hearing a lot is that music is just so essential to our life. There is a place for music as entertainment and music as community, gathering people together and singing, but that music therapy, like most traditional therapies, has a clinical component that you are using, that you are engaging with. So while you're using music as a medium, as maybe your tool chest, you are applying your clinical observational skills to see whether it's being effective or whether you need to change course and kind of individualize for the person that you're speaking with. That's
Absolutely.
very important to know, because yes, we have so many different people who bring music to our lives, but it's a different approach than music therapy. So
Absolutely.
thank you for clarifying that for us. Lastly, because we've been talking a lot, I'm wondering if you were to be talking to somebody, a family member or somebody who was looking at end of life services and they were interested in music therapy, what would be one thing that you would want people to take away with them when they're considering whether music therapy would really add a lot to their general holistic approach to their health?
I say give it a try, give it a couple sessions, give the therapist an opportunity to come in and, see if they can add value to your care, add value to the patient's end of life experience. I think legacy projects are huge, and I really wish that everyone
Could
had a
you
music therapist.
tell me more about what a legacy project is? Because maybe not everybody would be familiar with that.
Sure. So a legacy project would be a heartbeat song or an original song with the patient's voice, or just a playlist of the patient's favorite music with maybe their interjections of why they chose these songs or why these songs are meaningful. Um, a legacy project can be really anything that you and your therapist can dream up. You know, it might be something on your bucket list, like you always wanted to write a song, or you always wanted to be a singer, and you know, worked on the farm instead.
And
But
the heartbeat song, what does that mean?
so, you know, there's really great technology out these days, and we're able to record the sound of someone's heartbeat and extract that and weave that into maybe their favorite hymn, maybe a favorite song, maybe an original song. But we're able to utilize the patient's heartbeat and just make it something that you can listen to and feel close to.
So what you're saying is the most intimate part of our life experience, our own heartbeat, making our own music through our life, can be utilized by a music therapist like yourself to maybe put some of their own music over the top, and then have that for themselves and for their family to always have a
And this is
token of their
something
life
that,
music.
yeah, we can do over the course of a few sessions and include the family. Maybe record the grandkids in there as well. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, it's something that the whole family can participate in. Music therapy is good support for not only the patient but also for the caregivers. Caregiver burnout is so real, and being able to see the patient that they knew and loved as they knew and loved them is sometimes really refreshing, instead of seeing the person that, you know, in some instances, especially with Alzheimer's, is just kind of a shell of who they used to be. When we have difficulty with speech, we're still able to sing because it's a different place. It's a different part of the brain. Music is very global in the brain, and it helps to organize a lot of different parts of the brain. And so when speech is no longer possible, it's still potentially possible to sing or hum or harmonize or, you know, do those things that make us seem like a whole person again.
So the singing and the music is in a different part of our brain, separate from our speaking communication style, and music therapy is one way that we can reach that, one way that
Yeah.
you could unlock that.
Mhm.
Wow, that is incredible. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
You're
A
welcome.
lot of the information that you shared with me today, you sent over a very nice resource that we want to be sure that we share with anybody who would like additional information. It could be found at www.musictherapy.org, and that is put forth by the American Music Therapy Association.
Yep, that's our national association.
Okay, well, thank you again, Jenny. If people have additional questions, I'm going to put a question box for people who watch it, and I'll be passing them your way. And I just really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for advocating for music therapy, for telling people the benefits, and just making it as accessible as possible for the people who need it.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. This was great.
Thank you, Jenny. Talk to you later.